Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of What's Your Story? My name is Catherine Mwangi. Thank you for tuning in to KTN Home tonight because we have yet another incredibly inspiring story, and this one I can personally vouch for. I know this young man for many years. Maybe I won't say how many because then you'll decide how old I am. But once upon a time, he used to make my hair. And he was the best. He was actually the celebrity hairdresser in this town back in the day. That's how I met him. Akona hiyo kipawa. Once in a while, he'll watch my show and say, "Oh, I like your hair. I like your hair." I'm like, "Wow, it's still there." But one day, he was listening to a radio newscast, and he heard news that completely transformed the direction of his life. And so here with me tonight is the founder and director of Streetnizers Ministry Youth Resource Center, Mr. Juvinaris Chalo. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Can you believe we are here?
Handshake.
Handshake.
Yes, yeah.
Can you believe you're here? Even me here talking to you like this.
I think we don't know how things unfold.
No,
and
we
it's
don't.
good to be good.
Yes.
Na, as the saying goes, tenda wema,
Yeah.
nenda zako. Good intro.
Hey,
I was celebrity hair
celebrity hair. Like if you did not have an appointment with this guy,
Yes.
by the way, your hair was not hair. It was that simple.
Yeah, it was that simple.
Yeah.
And I think I've maintained that.
Yeah.
Even what I'm doing.
Yes.
And I'm glad to be here.
You
and
are
thank you for
amazing.
hosting me.
Oh, I'm so glad you
Yeah.
said yes to our invitation because, you know, I just sat like this one of these mornings. I just wake up and I said, wait a minute. So your name was just dropped in my spirit. And I said, wait, Juvinaris. Yeah, that's a story that needs to be told in this day and age. Because you're on this career path and you
Yes.
are darn good at it. I
Very
mean,
good.
You have,
Very
your
good.
fingers are for hair.
Very good.
Very
good.
And then one day, the next thing I hear from you, I think I had called to book for an appointment, and you said to me, no, I'm not doing hairdressing anymore, so now I'm taking care of street families
yes.
and street boys. And I said, huh? And you explained that, and I'm like, what? So here we are. So I know part of your story. Of course, you have grown since we last conversed many years ago. But let's just start with that one day, and I'll go to your background later, but let's start with that one day. You're busy making someone's hair, and you hear news, or you hear something in the radio. What was it?
Yes, let me tell you. In life, when you look like you've achieved some things, you're put down by others. You brought down. So with my celebrity stylist, I remember very well. I was listening to the radio station, and I had a discussion of boys who were in that station, and they needed some help. And because of this compassion, I said, let me try to help them.
Yeah.
Kumbe, that was the beginning. And I made a phone call. I called the person who was there with the boys.
Yeah.
And immediately, after the interview,
Yeah.
just like this one we're having today, we met with the boys. When I met them in a place we were eating some lunch, I looked at them and something was asking me, if you go with these boys, you say that you'll cut their hair for 1 year. What will be the next move? How will you get them from the streets? And reflecting on where I come from, who I was many years ago, this is you. Do something bigger than cutting their hair, shaving their hair.
Yeah.
And that is how it all began.
My goodness.
That's how it all began.
So you were meeting them to offer 1 year
Yes,
free
a service.
haircuts?
Yes.
And then it was not just that. You wondered, okay.
I'll shave their hair.
Yeah.
Then where will I get them after probably a month?
Yes.
And they are from the streets.
So that day you went to your home with them?
That day, I went, I looked for a house, I paid, and I kept them in a small house in a place called Kangemi.
My goodness.
Then there were 3 boys.
3 boys?
Yes, and they were with this famous MC Jesse.
Okay.
Yes.
Eish. And then, so how did that, that one day, listening to a news, a conversation on radio that changed your life, and I know hairdressing was your passion, you are so good at it. At what point did you decide, you know what, this is now my calling, let me now leave this and move here?
I'll probably rewind it a bit.
Yes, please.
In the same time I had lost my baby, a baby boy. And in that aspect of losing a baby boy, and you are newly married, and you're newly born again, there was a vacancy, there was a void in me.
Yes.
I needed something to fill that. So meeting the boys and asking myself, I've lost a baby, I'm so young in marriage, and I'm here, I'm one of the best hairdressers in Kenya. Something needs to fill that space. And that's how the boys, when I had the boys in the studio, that's how they came in.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is something that is going to fill my voidness, my emptiness. And poop.
It filled.
It filled. I started feeling that particular time, I started feeling, yes,
Yeah.
do this. These are 3 boys. God has given you 3 boys.
Yes.
You've lost 1, but God has already given you 3.
3.
How do I start? I had no idea. I just thought, let me get a house for them and keep them. And that's how it began.
So how did you have that conversation with your wife at that time that I have 3 boys and we are taking them in?
First, there are some things you don't talk.
Okay.
Remember, we are healing
Yeah.
from losing of a baby boy.
Yes.
So there is no way I could have sat down with my wife that particular time and discuss it. I opted to get a house away from where we are and keep quiet for once, because it is me who is feeling it. She might not be feeling the way I'm feeling, however much we are together. So it was me who was feeling the voidness, the emptiness.
Yeah.
So I couldn't share with her, I couldn't share with anybody. It's me who had it. And I decided, let me keep quiet, because I keep saying, silence is golden. Yeah.
So you kept quiet for a period of how long?
Okay, she knew that there's something going on.
Of course.
And people knew that because of my status, because of my celebrity status. People knew there's something going on. But I didn't keep talking. Even I don't think I shared with you either.
Yes, no.
I kept being quiet because it's good to deal with some things alone.
Privately.
And especially if you hear God telling you to do something, you don't need to go out there shouting.
Ooh.
You keep quiet. I kept quiet for some time.
For some time,
I know it for some time, yeah.
So you were taking care of these boys, making sure they're fed, they're clean, there's a roof over their heads.
Exactly.
While still continuing with
With
your
the hairdressing,
yes.
which I did for some time before I left.
Okay. So the courage to leave, because you had a well-paying job.
Very well.
Your name was well known in this I mean, it still is, but now in a different capacity.
Yes.
So you had a bevy of personalities queuing to just have you make their hair. And then you wake up one day and decide that is no longer my life.
Yes. You know what I did? I started kind of paving and telling my clients and my friends, you know what? In due time, I may leave this work. And some were asking me, well, tutengezwe nywele na nani? Yeah, don't worry. I may be coming for the appointments. I might be probably coming to your home to do your hair.
Yeah.
And it didn't just go like pop. It took, I went gradually because I took about 4 to 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
doing the street nicers and, of course, paving the hairdressing and my clients. So it took time.
It took time. And then when you now decided next month, I'm leaving, or next year, I'm leaving, whichever the case might be. Obviously, now at that point, you had to discuss with your wife.
Yes. A point came, she had to know what I'm doing. And for me to quit hairdressing, still I didn't discuss it with her. And also, some of my clients, I didn't disclose to them because some were pushing me not to leave.
Yeah.
Because of nani atatutengeneza kesho.
Yeah.
And when the time came, I had it alone. It's time for you to concentrate with these street nicers.
Yes.
And I was also asking myself, how will I survive? And I had it so clearly. This one will do what you want. This salon you want, is this a car, a house, whatever you need, this one will do it.
Wow.
And I was like, a celebrity hairdresser and running with street boys, how does it add up? So even myself, I could ask myself such questions, but because I'm hearing a voice telling me, leave, it's time to leave, I had to do it. And I left.
That is so much courage.
It's so much courage.
Yes.
So much courage.
So by the time you're leaving, how many boys were under your care?
We are around 30.
Wow.
Because the program began way back in the year 2005, June 16. And I left hairdressing in 2012. So from 2005 to 2012, that's a couple of years.
Yes.
And as I was leaving, a lot had already happened. Yes, a lot had already happened. From 2005 to 2012, that's quite a number of years.
7 years.
Yes.
7
so 7 years, I had already done a lot.
Yes.
So there was people had already started knowing me. Some of the clients had become my partners, people like Nameless. And I saw the need to go to that direction.
Yes. So where were you finding these boys?
Interestingly, many from the streets. Because the moment I took the first 3, it's like they were also celebrities in the streets. So because I used to walk with them, and all the time I'm with them, they're coming to the salon, I'm going to them to different places in town, to just know they live. Hey, wanaletana. They bring themselves.
Wow.
So to get them, even today, is not a problem.
No.
One boy can bring you 100. Just one boy.
For real?
For real.
Wow.
Yes, one boy can bring you 100 because they know each other.
Yes.
And they have a big network.
Yes.
And they know, pale tunaenda tunakula, pale tunapewa chakula, ule ni mwalimu wetu, because most of them used to call me Odijo. They changed that to Mzai. And I became Mzai.
Kijana mdogo hivi.
I'm telling you. They call me, you ask Juvinaris?
Mzai.
Mzai. Mzai. So I became a father. And
Wow.
I'm glad to that direction.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
So let's now go back, because for people watching, they may not understand your heart for these boys. So you would need to share your story growing up and what that was like, because that's where the connection is.
Yes.
So could you share with us about your background and, you know, the kind of family and environment that you grew up in?
Yes, it's true, because I grew up in I would call it a broken family, and we talk of poverty.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, how was nili nakwanga na meno, the one with teeth? That was true poverty. How I also went from class 1 all the way to class 8. I always keep telling the boys, it's a mystery. It's a mystery. Then from there, going to Form 1.
Yeah.
That is back in 1988. It was another mystery, because I'm the one who looked for my school. I walked to my school. I hear people saying that they walked. But for me, that was the reality, because you're dealing with a grandfather, a mother who is not there, an absent father who is a drunkard. So to me, it was real tough.
Where was your mom?
Looking for money. As always, you know, people got to look for money.
Yes.
Money that you don't see.
Yeah.
And then you're with a grandmother, and you're in Ushago, a place in Machakos, whereby it's so interior, there are not even cars that time. So I grew up in that environment, but I remember I was compassionate. Even with that state of too much poverty, I was compassionate. Because my grandmother, in the way she was also very compassionate. So I didn't know there was something being passed to me from her.
Yes.
And also when I used to meet my mother, she was also that compassionate woman. You can tell by the name, Juvinaris. You can tell this is a woman who had done kind of research.
Yeah.
It's
What
a rare
does it
name.
mean?
It's a rare name. I also didn't ask her. So that compassion was kind of passed to me. And when I went to high school, I became more compassionate. I was like the only boy who is going to see the sick people in dorms, because in a boarding school, you have those cases. You could take people, probably food for the ones who have not come for supper. You want to know what is going on in dormitories, what is happening. Kumbe, I don't know. That was growing up with me.
Yes.
And when I finished high school, I decided, I know I'm going to stay in Machakos anymore.
Yeah.
Let me go to Nairobi. And interestingly, I came to the city to look for my mother, whereby I found her, because I knew relatively where she used to stay. When I found her, the mindset is, I've come to the city. And in our vernacular, you normally say Ilovi. And then when you put Ilovi, you put A at the end, it's Ilovia. That is, in other words, meaning money. So I thought, there is money in Ilovi. That is Nairobi. So I came to the city to look for money. Oh my God, Catherine. I came, and because you are a boy from Ushago, you want also to fit into these other boys. You come, you stay, and you find a new breed of people, other friends. You want to speak Swahili, you want to speak English like them, Sheng. You have to mix with them. Knowingly or unknowingly, you meet a group of young men who are abusing drugs. What do?
You start abusing.
You start. So from there, what my father used to do and my mother, simi naingia pole pole kwa drugs. Na nikaanza. And Catherine, I went into drugs. That one, it's for real. I keep sharing my photos on Facebook, and people wonder, Juvinalis, is that you? Yes. You only see this now smart-looking young man doing street nicers, but he was deep-rooted.
In drugs?
Very deep.
Whoa.
In fact, I was selling drugs, I was abusing them, and
So even when you're a hairdresser, you were in...
even when I was making your hair before I got married, you couldn't tell.
No.
You drink. When you come, you tip me. I make sure you go. And then I see my timetable. I don't have a client. Nateremka hapo chini. Nachukua. Nakunywa. Because if it is in a glass like this one, you can't tell if I'm taking. And then I love chewing. So you could find me chewing gum. So when I'm chewing and then I'm less in talking, you can't tell. So
yeah,
I
were
was...
chewer, actually.
You remember?
What were you chewing?
Chewing gum.
It is... what was in that gum? Because actually you were actually a chewer.
Yes. So I was very rooted, and thank God.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, for a whole 10 years.
10 years?
Yes, 10 years. Because I began working at a place called Madare. That's where I began hairdressing back in 1996. 1996, yeah?
Yeah.
96.
Yeah.
Then from 1996 to 2000 is when I went to town. So from 2000, 2001 all the way to 2004 is when I quit drugs. So you can imagine all that time.
Whoa. So how did you quit? Because also, I also know or understand that it's not an easy thing to just quit drugs. You know, the addiction is a stronghold. How did you break yours?
One day I sat down after I got married in the year 2003, because at that time I was still abusing drugs. And even during my marriage, I introduced my wife to drugs, to taking alcohol. Yes. And I sat down that year towards the end of, by the beginning of 2004, and I asked myself, my mother, my father, my brothers, our family, we are all drug addicts.
Tell me you're joking.
Yes, we are all drugs. And I'm newly married. And I'm nakesha kwa bar with my wife. And we are just newly married. How will this go? I just gave myself a meeting. And I remember this building in town. We used to work upstairs, and downstairs there is a pub. We went there with my three friends, and we sat there. And that afternoon, I had an appointment with a woman who is a pastor. I had an appointment with her. It's around 1 o'clock. Instead of eating, my friends having a drink, and I told them, me, sitaki kunywa pombe leo, because the client who is coming at 3 o'clock, she's a pastor, and I don't want her to find me smelling. And my friend who is a Meru, I remember her, name is Robert, wherever he is, if he was watching, he told me, wewe juvenile wewe, unasema unataka kuacha pombe? If you stop drinking today, even the breweries which make alcohol, they will close.
Okay, it was that bad.
Yes, and again, that time my wife was expecting, and then he told me again, you tell us you don't want to drink because you are saving money for the maternity. Sema kukasirika. Makasiriko nilikuwa nayo. After hiyo kukasirika nikamwambia, you know what Robert, hata hii pombe naweza iwacha. Si mimi ndio nimewanunulia. Mkapewa. Si nimwambia what I'm doing. Yeah. He told me, wewe ukiacha, even me, you know the way Ameru, that accent, hata mimi nitaacha. Kujichocha nayo. Nikasema nitaacha. Ile tu kusema nitawacha. And then they finished, we went upstairs, my client came at 3 o'clock. Yeah. That is on a Friday. Yeah. That is on a
Friday.
I remember very well. She came, I did hire, she went. Then Friday afternoon, evening, si tumemaliza kazi. So we are going together as a quorum. I would call myself a mobilizer. We went to that place, and I told them, today I told you I'm not drinking. Robert told me, if you don't drink, even me. And I sat there in the bar. They asked for beer. I didn't drink. I started taking water, asking for the waiters to give me lemon with hot water. You know the way you can do a lot of things.
Dawa.
Dawa, something, soda. It's around midnight. I'm bored. I decided I have to leave. Na nasikia kiu. Na nasikia kukunywa. But I decided. I went out. When I went out, the place I used to stay, there's a promotion going on. Buy 2, get 1. I am like, what is going on? Easy promotions, they don't come when and I'm going home. It's around midnight. And my friends are calling me, Juvenilis, kwani unaenda? Kwani unaenda nyumbani? I decided, let me get in. I went there. I was given 2 and 1. And I said, I'll do this. Because this is alcohol and I have decided I'm not going to drink. I put it in the glass and I said, this one, ebu jilete kwa mdomo. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just doing the experiment. Cigarettes, jilete kwa mdomo. Miraa, jilete kwa mdomo. And then I sat there for about 10 minutes, waiting for it to come to my... Yes. I thought, I saw, kumbe ni sisi tunachukuanga, tunaweka kwa mdomo. Catherine, it didn't come to my mouth. So I walked up silently and I went to my house. I cried. Ati nimeacha pombe kwa meza. Kwanza chupa 3. Alafu ni ile baridi.
Moja ni free.
Na moja ni free. I cried. And after crying, I slept. I woke up that morning, I went back to work. And my friends were like, yani jana hukukunywa pombe? That is now a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I remember that Saturday, there was a program going on in one of the churches. I had seen, because I didn't used to go to churches.
Yeah.
That Saturday I decided, siendi na mabeshte, I'll go to church. I went to church, there was people dancing and running up and down. Nikamaliza hiyo Saturday. Sunday, the same. Then that Monday, there was a convention in that church again. So I decided every 5 p.m. nikimaliza kazi, me I'll be going where?
Convention.
To the church. Then that week, I went to church. And then I was there, looking at people running up and down, jumping, singing. I'm wondering, do these things happen in church? Then I heard somebody, the pastor, saying, you, come here. He pointed at me. I was like, how does he know me? I went. When I went, he touched me. Catherine, I'm this kind of a person. What I used to say, wezi nishika nianguke. So when he touched me, I fell down. He said, bring him again, because I could hear. Nikaletwa tena. He touched me again. I fell. Then he said, you've been running away from God. You've been running away from the assignment that God has given you. Then he touched me the 3rd time. I fell, and then he went. Have you ever seen that man again? I hear of him. I know where he is, but we have never met.
Yeah.
And from that time, because you don't know what is happening, I would say I was not speaking in tongues. And shaking, wondering, na sikuumia after kuanguka. I walked up, then we were called people, the way you are called, those who want to give their lives, and those who want to leave alcohol, and the words that I was hearing that man saying, and I decided that Sunday, we were told to come to church. So that Sunday I went to that church, and the pastor said, the visitor stand. I stood. They said, that seat you're sitting on, like this one. When you come next Sunday, the pastor says, it's yours. Here, I'm wondering, you're being given a seat in a church? Then I said, I will continue. Then that next Sunday I went, I found a guy sitting on the seat that I was told. So I told that man, this seat, the pastor there said, this seat is mine, so please, I want to sit here. This man left that seat and I sat there. That gave me a lot of encouragement. And I think that issue of a seat kept me in church. Because I sat for that for so many years.
Wow.
That same seat.
Yeah.
Because the pastor said some of the words they say.
Yeah.
And I went on growing, deleting some of my friends. I changed workplaces. From the place I was, I left some of my friends. And poof, that's the time my baby now died.
And we shall come to that. Hey, Daenerys. Woo! After the break, we come back and get to know the path that his life took now that he had seen the light, quite literally, and helping these young boys, the boy child. You know, in this town we say the boy child has no voice, the boy child is not seen, but he's a young man who left a thriving career as a hair designer into helping people that need it, specifically street boys. So do not miss it. After the break, What's Your Story is back.
Dealing with the boy child is hard. Girl child, it's easier. You're dealing with boys from different backgrounds, with different mindsets, mostly from the streets, mostly from broken families, mostly who know more than you. You're not dealing with just a normal boy who has been brought up from a church. You're dealing with hardcore. Those who you need to change their mindset, which is the hardest part. It's not easy.
Welcome back from the break. This is What's Your Story? I'm Catherine Mwangi. We're having a conversation with the founder and director of Streetnizers Ministry Youth Resource Center. His name is Mr. Juvenaris Chalo. He takes care of street boys and has been doing that, I think, close to 10 years now. So karibu tena. Karibu tena, because I don't even have my words together, because just hearing how your story of transformation happened, and also what you said in the first part of the show, where when you know something and you have the conviction that this is the path you're supposed to take, hauendi ukisema uko, even to a person as close as your wife. You know, eventually you'll have to tell your partner, but up at the start, when it's still at embryo stage, when your dream is still young, you keep it yourself until you know, like, for sure, now this is the path you're taking, and you're unshakable and uncompromising in seeing that dream come to pass. So speak to us about that, you know, just the importance of protecting or safeguarding what we regard as our purpose or the pathways, because we are surrounded by people and voices and opinion and family, and many times we don't want to let them down. So if, for example, my partner comes to me and says, don't do that, I don't think it's good for you. See, because of we are partners, then I will be like, okay, you know, maybe he's seeing something I'm not, you know, we're always saying that. Maybe anaona kitu sijaona, let me just flow with him, after all we are one. But your case was different. So what's the value in just safeguarding your dream for some time until you feel the release to share it?
Yes, Catherine, because it's very important to guard your dream and to not to be able to speak it, because when you start shouting and telling people, the enemy is also listening. I want to take you back to the book of Genesis. When God spoke to Adam and Eve, God told them, do not eat. That was the first voice. But now, what happened to them? They listened to the second voice. So when you hear something as the first person, people should confirm, but not to tell you. So the second voice is not a good voice. So I said, I'll keep quiet because I've heard the voice as the first voice. And the first voice is always correct, and it's always of God. The second voice, how much it's coming from who? It is a voice of the enemy. So when you start speaking about your dream, your visions, your aspirations, what you want to achieve, what you want to do, the second voice comes in because it's not listening, and then it comes in to spoil. That's what I did. And because even when I was young, I used to study the Bible. I used to know a lot of scriptures, Bible scriptures, what to do, what not to do. Even when I was in drug addiction, I used to know the Bible. So first voice, go with it. Guarding your dream, guarding your purpose, guarding your career, it's very important. If you tell your friends, they'll come with different opinions. And because opinions will always be from other people's, you might turn around and go with those opinions, and they put you in a ditch. So I decided to keep quiet until when we registered the program, I started it well, and I got all what is needed from the government. And I would advise somebody, don't keep telling everybody what you need to do. One slogan I keep saying is, silence is golden. Keep silent, keep quiet, and you definitely see the gold.
I like that. So you left, you know, the hairdressing business, the whole beauty world. You left that, and ukasema clients wako watajisort. Hawatakosa njia na namna.
Na siona tumejisort. You're looking amazing.
It was difficult.
It was difficult, but looking nice.
You're like, no, who? So you left there, and by the time you're leaving, you had 30 boys, 30.
30.
How are you feeding them?
I would say the ceiling broke when we had the post-election, that is 2007, 2008. I received so many boys from different parts of the country, and somebody did my story that time. And when he did the story, it went viral that time, because the social media was not as it is today. And so many people brought support. Thank God for Kenya Red Cross. They came in and they gave us so much support. And that's how everything now changed from Streetnizers. And I was like, kumbe, let me do this. So from 2007 and 2008, during that post-election, that's when everything turned good. And I would say that is a situation which looked gloomy in our country, but to Streetnizers that what I've been doing, everything became glorious.
So the vision had provision.
Yes, the vision had provision, and it's true. If you have a vision, a dream, provision is already there.
I like that. So how many boys do you have now?
As you've said, we are not 10 years. We are 18 years.
Whoa, 2 decades.
It's 18 years. since 2005. Count, do the mathematics. Up to now.
Yes, it's
In fact, we
18.
were celebrating the 18th year this month of August.
Juvenile.
Same case with my birthday. I love this month. So you can imagine 18 years doing the same thing consistently. You know, I tell people, since the day Streetnazers began, June 16, 2005, the fire at the Streetnazers has never gone off. That kitchen, the fire is always there on. 18 good years. Sometimes in Afkanga Mali, I want to send these boys away. You send them away, 2 come, 3 come. So the fire has not gone off for 18 years.
18 years.
Consistently.
My goodness.
A baby has been born, gone to high school, primary school level, secondary, gotten an ID.
Yeah.
So we have an ID as Streetnazers.
Wow.
18
That's
years.
awesome.
It's awesome. It's a journey. It's a journey full of goodies and buddies and a lot of things.
What are the challenges you've had to overcome? Because people listening to you could think, oh, see, maybe I can go out and get street girls and do a Streetnazers for females. Not understanding the price
challenge
you have to pay.
First, I paid the price with the loss of my child. That is one, which is very key, because after losing that child is when God opened my eyes and told me that I'll bless you with children. And I didn't know how it meant. Second prize is I've gone through so much. If you have a dream which is from God and you're not fought by people from the church, the government, the community, those whom you are feeding, those ones, if you are not getting such fights, then
check your dream again.
Check your dream again. So the government must fight you properly. The church must fight you 100%. Those whom you are feeding, those whom you are with them, those ones, it's 200%.
The ones
you are giving, the ones you're calling you mzai, the ones whom giving food and shoes and clothing and paying school fees and looking for money for them, 200%. Now the community will not like you for what you are doing. They'll even not want you to be away. Not even, they live about 100% or 20%. They don't want you there. So I've gone through that.
My God. How did you overcome that?
When you hear the voice of God and when you hear this is what you're supposed to do, keep doing it. Because as these physical things fight you, there's another spiritual power that will also fight for you. So I've really seen God. Because Catherine, if there's anything that I've been doing from 2005, is prayer. And teaching these boys prayer and the word of God. So as they fight, I teach them the word. As they fight, as the community is fighting, I go down to my knees and pray. So that has really kept me for those 18 years. And remember, you're dealing with boys from different backgrounds, with different mindsets, mostly from the streets, mostly from broken families, mostly who know more than you. You're not dealing with just a normal boy who has been brought up from a church. You're dealing with hardcore. Those who you need to change their mindset, which is the hardest part. It's not easy.
So how do you do that? How do you change the mindsets of, boys from broken families, boys who knew the streets as their home, who knew the only solution either is to kill somebody or drugs, they don't care, like you describe them as hardcore. How do you change that mindset into upright members of society?
I would say with my story first, it's already a testimony. When they hear my story, they see my photos, and I tell them, let me tell you, what you are doing is PE. I used to do gymnastics. So yours is just a PE thing. You are doing physical education. And with that, when they hear my story, and then they see the love that I have for them, the compassion, because bottom line is to show people love, the compassion, the support. Then you put sense in their mind. You start telling, this is the sense. Follow this direction. Don't smoke. Don't do this. Don't do that. Some align to that. Others don't. But now when you see the results, do you have anything else apart from the results? These are the results. You definitely appreciate the results. So when some come and see the results and see what you've been doing, this journey, they are like, okay, see a choice. These are results. And results speak. And that's why you called me also to come to this show.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we've been reading the results, seeing them.
So I have so many results.
And
that gives me a lot of encouragement, because there are some boys who are pastors, some who have started their own schools, some who are married. I'm a grandfather besides being a mzai. Some who are married, they have children. Some have named their kids after me, juveniles. So when I see all that, I am supposed to wake up again and do it and go to the streets and pick more. And I'm doing it up to now.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. Because when you see those results, you become very happy. So you don't focus on the challenges. And I don't think there's any work that doesn't have its own challenges. They are there. It's only that people go down with those challenges, but we have to refuse.
Yes.
Where there's a challenge, set another standard. Move on.
Yes.
And you can imagine being fought by the boys themselves. Whom do you go to? To God.
So how many do you have now?
Right now we're having 20 boys because when the government came in, it's not about keeping the boys there. Because there's a day we used to be 80, 100. It's not about keeping them there and just feeding them. It's taking them. We do normally use a rescue mission. After you rescue them, you do a transformation or you do a reconnection. You reconnect them back to their families. To their communities, because it's not also good to keep somebody there for 2 years. You're supposed to keep them for 3 years. When you reconnect them back to the communities, at least they're in school, they are looking good, they are clean. And also in the community, you see them like that, or their parents or their guardians, they accept them. Because it is us people who have framed these boys or these children in the streets as street children. They are not. These are amazing young men. Very amazing. Even the people who are in drug abuse right now, like what our Excellency Deputy President wife is doing, Dorcas, and our Honorable Member of Parliament. Well, some of these people are doing it. Don't look at them as drug abuses people. Don't look at them the way we look at them. There is hope in them. If you keep doing it, you'll see results. Wow. So we look at them that direction, and I look at them as men who have purpose, men who have visions, men who can be future generations, because I've seen myself saving a generation today.
Yes, you have.
I've seen.
Wow, so you reconnect them back to their families.
Yes, which is very important.
And if they don't feel like, maybe they have such traumatic backgrounds and they don't want to meet anyone in their family.
A good one.
Yeah.
This is what we do. I'll make sure this boy, before he leaves streetizers, if he's willing, because help is there. Help is always there. If he's willing to stay, because patience is the key, something will definitely happen for him. Something will happen. He may go out there, get a college, get something to get a job to do. He gets his own house. And that's the essence. That's the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, you'll have to leave streetizers and go and live in your own life. So if the community or the guardian, the parents doesn't want the boy, we work in a way that this boy, before he leaves me, or he leaves the streetizers umbrella, at least he can feed for himself.
Yes. And you take them to school?
Yes, we do.
Yeah?
We do. I do a lot of school, and in fact, I'm well known in so many schools. So many teachers, principals, they know juveniles. Ule analetanga vijana, tuacha tumsaidie. So because education is key. We take them to school, take them to church. I thank God there is an hospital that takes care of us when we are sick. So as we said earlier, provision is there. Even right now, people are watching us. I know there are so many people who will come in and to know what can we do, how can we partner. Help is there. Help of the boy child is there. It's only that dealing with the boy child is hard. Girl child, it's easier. Boy child, ukimwambia hivi anasema hivi, ama anataka kufanya vile. So boy child is not easy to deal with, but there is help. What I know is there is help. You can also keep checking. There's a lot of help for the boy child. If he will align himself to get help, it is there.
It is there.
I'm there for 18 years, and I can testify to that.
So if there are those ones who are watching and they want help, or maybe there's a family watching and they know of a boy somewhere who needs that kind of a help. Maybe they've watched and they're like, maybe we should recommend this boy to juveniles. Do you allow boys, do you have like a screening process, or how someone just knocks on the gate and comes?
What you've been doing now, because you have to formalize things, is you have to get to know to the chief of that particular boy, where he comes from, where is he in the streets also, has he ever gone to another place for a rescue, has he ever been supported, because they're so very tricky. They lie their names, they lie where they come from. Some are from rich backgrounds, well-up backgrounds.
What?
Some have disappeared because of a simple thing like a phone, maybe 10 bob, 20 shillings. Some don't want to go to school. So there are so many cases. There's a case study. There is a lot. You don't just need to get a boy first.
No.
There's a lot you need to inquire.
Oh.
Then from there, when you get all the details, it's important to involve the police, because some are also not good boys. After involving the police, you get an OB, and then from there, if this boy is willing to go those processes, help is there.
Wow.
Yes. So you don't just allow, like now, I don't just allow picking the boys just like the way I used to do 10 years ago. I've grown, I know the boundaries, I know what to do, what not to do. So because you'll maybe bring these boys, they'll beat you up, they'll do a lot of things for you. So there's so much to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work.
So they fought you as well?
I wouldn't say physically, but with words, with allegations, I go through a lot. So they may not fight you physically, but when they go out there, they'll fight you.
Wow. Wow. What are some of the achievements that you're most proud of? Street Nicer's ministry has gotten over the years. What are some of the notable ones?
Notable ones.
Yes.
First is seeing these boys realizing themselves and knowing God, because that's very important.
Yeah.
Second is some of the boys who have gotten education. Some have gone to the universities. Others have become reasonable and prominent boys in this country.
Yeah.
Like I have one case of this miracle baby, who is a renowned boy, and he was very down. He's doing very well, married, and again, we have started programs like, we have a talent program called Unveil Your Dream. If you go to our YouTube channel, Unveil Your Dream, you see some of the things we do on social media. We have also started Pandamiti Challenge. Pandamiti Challenge, just like we were celebrating the Mambo na climate change.
Yeah.
Street Nicers, we have planted over 20,000 trees, over, which we have taken care of, and we can see, we can account for them. Not that tulipanda na tukaacha. So that is a big achievement, and that's one program we have of Pandamiti Challenge that has brought food security on us.
Yes.
We grow vegetables, we grow fruits. That's all we grow. We grow maize. Like now it's a dry season, but we're having soft maize. Si tunaweza kula mahindi ile bebejwa. We can eat them. And with that Pandamiti Challenge, I've seen the boys embracing it, going back to the environment. And also when they leave, some tell me, I'll go to my home and start Pandamiti Challenge.
Oh, wow.
And that has really encouraged me a lot. And when I meet some in the streets driving, now that gives me shockwave because I'm happy. So there's a lot of that I've achieved.
Yeah.
And above all,
Yeah.
knowing God called me. It is God who called me. So he has been qualifying me every single day.
Yeah.
Because it's not by me.
Yeah.
It's that grace for 18 years.
Yes.
So those are some of the achievements.
Yeah.
And I'm glad.
Yeah.
And this is also an achievement to be on your story. Encouraging somebody out there
Yeah.
so they can know.
And you need
can
to
do your
encourage
dream.
them, the
Yes,
dreamers.
you can get to your dream and work it out. And one day that dream becomes a lesson, becomes a book. So people are reading from me. And this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to reach out and support what you're doing, how can they do that?
Yes, like we have I'm glad the wife of the deputy president, Dorcas, she's doing something for the boys. It's a place we can team up and partner together. So somebody watching me, that is an area that I'm so much involved and I know a lot of it. If they can partner with us, Street Nicers, that would be good. If there is anybody out there who is having a burden for the boy child, there's a place that they can come and support. In any way, you can reach out through our Facebook page, the Street Nicers Youth Resource Center. There's a lot of information there. And our YouTube channel is Unveil Your Dream. So many stories there for me and the boys. Maybe if somebody wants to call me, you can reach us on our number, 0720 44 3095. And we team up because this is a collective responsibility. We help at least one boy through support.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. And just as we wind up speaking to the challenges you've been through, you know, earlier on you had said like there are times you just want to wake up and tell them, all of them were, kila ulikotoka urudi, you know, you just like, not anymore. How do you just find your sanity back and just continue with this dream? Because it's not an easy path to be on.
I remember when you ask that, at time, there's a day I had 10 boys. Then I sent them away, 10 in the morning. And then in the evening, I received 10. And that told me, you're not stopping this. You're not stopping this. So when that incident happened that time,
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I decided.
Yeah.
So whatever shall be happening, I will keep on doing.
Wow.
And one thing about me,
Yeah.
even when I started the dressing,
Yeah.
I said I want to see results. So whatever I start, I want to see results. That is what I always wanted to see.
Yes.
So if I get one boy from the streets, I want to see the result of this boy. Going to school, getting education, and if time allows, he gets something to do. And if time allows, he gets married. And then I see another son, probably a baby.
Yes.
So I want to see results.
Oh, wow.
And that is what has kept me,
Yes.
seeing results. And now the grace has grown.
Yes.
Today, there is nothing that will shake me. I've seen it all. Being fought by the government, the church, the community, and the ones whom we are feeding. What else is remaining?
There's nothing else to see.
Yeah, see, because the enemy comes with those people. So it's now just waiting for God to take you through.
Wow.
So I've gone through the fire.
Yes.
I've been burned.
Yes.
But sikuisha. I'm there.
You're still here.
I'm still here. So I'm not now yet to give up now.
No.
I'm grown. I'm strong. I put an iron, what do we call it?
Yeah.
I've put a cover in me
Yeah.
that I'm not shaken by
No.
what you are doing or what you're saying.
No.
Yes. Because they love to say.
Whoa.
And they love to speak.
Whoa.
And again, finally, is you cannot really fight for yourself while you are away from people. People are there speaking. You are here. You can't really fight them because you don't know what they are saying. Unless you come to me and tell me, nitajitetea hapo. But when you're out there,
Yeah. You ignore the noise.
yeah, you ignore the noise and you move on. And that's what we need to do.
Handshake ingine ya kumaliza show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Juvenaris,
Yes.
what an encouragement you are. Love it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
hosting me.
so much for coming, and may you grow from strength to strength, from grace to grace. You're already graced anyway, you're ageless. When you were, what is this you're taking? You're not growing old.
When you deal with young people, you become younger. I'm towards 50. I'm heading 50.
You're
yes.
heading 50?
I'm heading 5th floor.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
My goodness.
Yeah, blessed with 4 children.
Wow.
2 daughters and 2 sons.
Awesome. Awesome. What an awesome story.
Very awesome.
What an awesome
It needs to be continued.
Yes.
We need to continue this.
To be continued.
To be
So when you
continued.
meet again in a few years, there'll be another layer to the story.
I'm telling you, another layer.
Yes. Thank you for coming, Jules.
Thank
you. You watching, man, like, yo, do something. You heard him. He was young when he decided, you know what, I'm going to follow this call. This voice I'm hearing, I don't even know where it's coming from, but I just know I need to help those 3 boys. And that action just gave birth to this dream that has impacted generations. When you hear about street boys now, being upstanding members of society with their wives and their children, they're driving, they have businesses. Come on, man. So let's do something and let's not wallow in despair. You heard his number. It's running again on screen as we speak. On Facebook, again, it's there. Reach out to him, even if you need somebody to talk to. Just you reach out to him and get pumped. Ndio jitume. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Catherine Mwangi. The show goes up on YouTube after this. And until next week, you take care and keep the fire burning.
Gem Suites Hotel and Luxury Service Departments currently boasts 2 properties within Kenya. Gem Suites State House Crescent, set in the exclusive State House neighborhood, comprises of 34 well-appointed apartments, and Gem Suites Riverside, set up in a secure, private and tranquil setting. In the upscale Riverside neighborhood with 98 luxuriously appointed full-service 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, superior hotel rooms and presidential penthouses.